part of our interview.
Watch out, vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
Go right ahead. Bernie Sanders believes terrorists should be able to vote. Joe Biden has announced the other day that he wants to run, and he's got a history of actually supporting segregation back in the 70s. He starts attacking you for Charlottesville. I just want to make this clear. I read the transcript, went back and listened to the audio, what you said at Charlottesville.
Right.
You never said anything positive about neo-Nazis and Klansmen, but they continue to push that line, don't they?
It's a terrible thing that they keep bringing up, and I actually said two different ways, and I said it every way you can say it. But I said you have bad people in both groups, you have good people in both groups. Don't forget.
And by groups you meant protesters, not the Klan and not the neo-Nazis.
Oh no, I only meant the protesters. But if you remember, that started over the statue of perhaps the greatest general in the history of our country in terms of strategic brilliance. If you go to generals, a lot of generals I work with, many of them think that strategically and in many ways Robert E. Lee was the greatest general. They have in Charlottesville, where I have a big property, I have a big house in Charlottesville, believe it or not, the John Kluge estate. And, you know, when you go and you look at this incredible statue of Robert E. Lee on a horse, and many of those people were from the University of Virginia. They were from all around the neighborhood, the area. They just wanted to protest the fact that they want to take down the statue of Robert E. Lee. Now, there were a lot of good people in that group, and they were protesting the taking down of statues. Now, some people are for that, and some people are not for it.
But you see, Mr. Pratt, what they're doing to you is they're twisting what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're saying is, when you say a lot of good people, and they go, see that? He's talking about the Klan. See that? He's talking about... You're not.
No, I'm talking about people that were there. You had some very bad people in each group, too. You had some very... Don't forget, that was the beginning of Antifa. That's when you first started hearing the word Antifa. I'm not sure I heard the name Antifa before Charlottesville.
Let me ask you this.
And they were hitting people with clubs and sticks. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
You had bad people on both sides also. And I said that.
Do you think they're going to scrutinize what Joe Biden actually said in a particular way in the 1970s about race? And let me ask you this, who would you like to run against? They got quite a crew of ultra-leftists now.
Well, I have to say that, look, as a standard answer, I'll run against any of them. Do I have a pick? Maybe I'll tell you when I'm with you. First of all, I want to thank you. You have been so brilliant and so good, and it's been incredible. The show you did on television the other night, I tell people, was like total genius. It was like you built a building, like you were building from the foundation all the way up, in exposing the witch hunt, in exposing the whole really horrible thing that they created out of absolutely nothing. That was the only thing they did well. She didn't run a good race, but she sure as hell built a good thing after the race, and actually during the race, because, that didn't start with Mueller. That started long before Mueller. That was a coup. It was a coup. That started long before Mueller. And that was the whole thing with dirty cops and FBI and all of the things that you know about better than anybody else. I mean, if you look at the people involved in that horrible situation.
Outrageous.
And that was a very dangerous thing for our country. And now people understand it. Really, they understand it. But, they'll go on. But I think it's embers now. I just think it's little embers. I hope so anyway, because it's so bad for our country. It puts us in such a bad light. It really hurts us as a country. I think we've done a good job.
But look how far the Democrat Party has lurched left. I mean, They all sound like Bernie Sanders now.
They have lurched left, and I watched Bernie the other day talking about, prisoners can vote. And
terrorists.
I said, well, I actually said, because then they went into that. At first they said prisoners, then they said, well, that means the Boston bomber. They used a couple of beautiful examples like the Boston bomber.
Yep.
And he said, that includes the Boston bomber. And I said, whoa, that's heavy stuff. And then you hear other people more or less agreeing with him that, are running. And I think it's amazing, but I don't mind campaigning on the fact that I will not allow ever to have the Boston bomber be voting. Okay, I don't mind that. I think that's not. I don't lose any points with the world of politics with that. It's ridiculous. But that's what I'm running against, and it is amazing to me and to you how far left these people have gone. But
Yes.
we'll expose it for what it is.
Well, in 2 years, despite all that's been going on around you, I'm speaking for myself, you've been a remarkably successful president. You haven't mentioned the courts yet. You've done a tremendous job in the courts, which is very, very difficult. You've been fighting this battle on immigration. You have cities and states that are violating federal law with this sanctuary nullification nonsense. You have people who are trying to undermine the United States military. You're standing for the United States military. You're doing a lot of things that the people who live between the two coasts wanted you to do. Right. And I just wanted to mention that as we end our discussion here.
Well, Mark, if I could, I'd just like to thank the farmers because, we're doing great trade deals and they're going to be among the biggest beneficiaries. They've been so patriotic, so loyal, and they're starting to do really well. And they've been going down for 15, 20 years, a long time. But the farmers, and we rebuilt the military, and we will, you mentioned the courts, we'll have very shortly, within another couple of months, I'll have 145 federal judges, including 2 on the Supreme Court. 145. Nobody would have thought that's possible. And 145.
Top
it's
notch.
a big percentage of all top notch. So we're very happy with that.
Well, Mr. President, be safe out there. We're rooting for you because rooting for you is rooting for the country.
Well, I really appreciate it. I love your show, and you're a very special man, and I appreciate it very much. And you've been with me from early on, and very early, almost at the beginning. You took a little side path for a few months there, but that was okay. And he happens to be a good man. He ended up doing a good job, Ted, and I understand. I can understand that too. But I really do appreciate it, Mark, very much.
God bless and best to your family as well.
Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right, take care. Now I'm back live. It cracks me. He always does that too, by the way. He never lets me forget. Well, I'll tell you what. Ted Cruz is a terrific, terrific conservative. He really is. And he's doing a hell of a job too. But this is our president. And I know this is going to it's going to upset the people at Mediaite. It's going to upset the people at, what are the other crazy left-wing sites? Can't remember them all. Media Matters and so forth. I am proud of this president. I am proud of him. I am proud of the fights that he picks with the media, with media outlets, with individuals, reporters who think they own this country, they own the airwaves. They don't. I'm proud of what he's doing on the judiciary. I'm proud of the fact that he has criticized the judiciary and the foolishness of the Chief Justice pretending there aren't Obama judges and so forth, like we're all supposed to play stupid. I am proud of what he's trying to do on the border. A president, finally, who's trying to secure our country's safety and national security. And yes, to ensure that the culture survives. And that's a very, very important thing. Assimilation is crucial into our culture, not us into other cultures. People are fleeing those cultures. Why would we want to be like those cultures? Those cultures should be like our culture. This president has increased defense spending. He doesn't go around the world apologizing for us. He doesn't show up like a slip and fall lawyer at at the scene of various crimes, trashing our police officers. I mean, he's trying to do the right things. And he's fighting a fifth column in this country, made up of the media, people like Connolly and Nadler and the rest of the reprobates, fighting these billionaires who seek to take him out because they like the status quo, this clown Steyer. What a jackass. You want to see if he'll come on this show, Mr. Producer, Tom Steyer? Tell him, you're buying up the airways with all your... How about you come on free radio, right here, Radio Free America, where he and I can debate. The president is trying to do the very best he can, and he's doing great things. And I am telling you, if he doesn't win re-election, we are going to regret this deeply. Deeply. And when the day comes, whether it's in 2 years, God forbid, or 4 years, and he's no longer president, we're going to regret that too. And we're going to regret that too. Despite what the left says, history is going to treat this president very, very well. History is going to treat the media, the never-Trumpers, and the Democrats, the rogue, tyrannical Democrats that run the House of Representatives today, very, very poorly. This I truly believe. Look at the economy. Up until today, we were told we were heading for a recession. You have 3.2% GDP growth in the first quarter. You've heard everyone talk about this, but I'm going to tell you something you haven't heard them talk about. 3.2%. Obama never got that. With the government shutdown. You see, my attitude is, with the government shutdown, the private sector felt that it could actually muscle up more. The regulators weren't regulating. The government wasn't in your face. We, the people, we make this country wealthy. We grow the economy, not government, not the bureaucrats. We could do so well, even so much better, if we had so much less government. But we were told over and over and over again by the financial experts, you know, they use as a backdrop the stock market, by the financial hosts on all kinds of cable TV, including our favorite cable station, that we were headed for muddy waters. I want you to listen to this. This also is from Unfreedom of the Press, page 20. I want you to know why you keep hearing how negative and terrible the economy is when Republicans are president, particularly this president. A November 2018 survey of 462 financial journalists by professors at Arizona State University and Texas A&M University, of which more than 70% of those surveys were affiliated with the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, Bloomberg News, Associated Press, Forbes, the New York Times, Reuters, or the Washington Post, revealed that even most financial journalists are political progressives. When asked, generally speaking, how would you describe your political views? The journalists responded, very liberal, 17.6%, somewhat liberal, 40.8%, moderate, 37.1%, somewhat conservative, 3.94%, and very conservative, 0.046%. Thus, nearly 60% of financial journalists surveyed said they were liberal, and less than 5% were conservative. That's why they throw wet blankets on this president's economy. That's why they threw wet blankets on George H.W. Bush's economy and Reagan's economy. That's why. Because they're liberals too. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.